You can use scripting to manifest literally anything from love to money to career changes to business improvements and advancements and literally anything in between. Scripting is one of the most powerful techniques that I've ever used. And it's really one of the only manifesting techniques that I still use, because to live a day that you realize that you've scripted is eerily magical. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand why you should be using scripting and how to script so that you can start to manifest anything you want. Like I said, I've been using it for years, and my clients are using it to manifest incredible things like unexpected money, ideal jobs, peaceful births, you name it. Okay. So I want to help you learn how to script as well, because it is a phenomenal tool to have in your manifesting toolkit. But before we get into today's video, if you're into this kind of stuff, this woo-woo manifestation, let's create our best lives together kind of stuff, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification so that you're let know when a new video is available. So let's start by talking about why scripting works. Okay, there's a few reasons why it's so powerful. So first, scripting is one of the only manifesting methods that utilizes a bunch of senses at once, right? It engages several senses as you are visualizing what you want to script, because you can't, and we'll get into this in a minute, but you can't script effectively if you don't have a clear vision of what it is that you're scripting into being. Okay. So it uses a lot of your senses, which allows your subconscious mind to draw on different parts of that memory that you're creating, basically. Okay. Now, also, when you are creating your vision for your scripting, you're going to be engaging the emotions that you think you'll feel when you've manifested the thing. That's one of the things that makes scripting so powerful, which again, we'll get into in a minute. I want to give you why we use scripting first, so that you can really appease your egoic mind, okay, really appease your conscious mind to understand why this is such a powerful technique. Now, another thing to note about your subconscious mind is your subconscious mind does not know the difference between something that is imagined or something that is actually happening, okay, which is side tangent for another video, why you want to be careful about what you're consuming and what you're paying attention to, but we'll talk about that in another video. But because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference, it imagines it's happening, okay? And because it imagines it's happening, you've now ranked this thing higher in your importance bank in your brain. And what that does is trigger something called the reticular activating system, or your RAS, to filter out all the millions of bits of information we receive on a daily basis, to filter out what you've deemed important, right? So something that you're spending time visualizing, you're engaging all of your senses, you're spending time feeling into the emotions that you'll have. Your subconscious mind doesn't know whether that's actually happened or not, but you've deemed those experiences, right, higher in the importance. So your reticular activating system is going to filter out information in your reality to prove you right, okay? Because your subconscious literally is just photocopying what you believe to be true and putting it into your reality, okay? Which is, again, why scripting is so powerful. The subconscious's mind literally is just to prove you right. So if we're scripting a reality that we want, our subconscious mind is going to work to create that in our reality by filtering out all the information that doesn't align with what we believe to be true. And of course, if we're talking about manifesting, we're also talking about using the universal laws to our advantage. They apply to us whether we, think about them consciously or not. But if you know how to use them properly and deliberately, why wouldn't you, right? So again, what you focus on is what you attract. What you are is what you get in return. And so if you are visualizing and scripting a day as if you would like it to happen, you're engaging your senses, you're thinking about how it feels, your subconscious mind doesn't know whether it's actually happened or not. Your reticular activating system is filtering out information that doesn't align with, that's the only downside to doing a video outside. Your reticular activating system is removing information that doesn't align with what you say to be true. Your subconscious mind is imprinting what it believes into your reality. So of course, the law of attraction is going to come into play too. And also the law of assumption, right? The law of assumption is when we not only assume that it is happening, but assume the position of the person who has the thing, right? Which is scripting, of course. I'm going to explain this in a minute. You're going to write from the perspective of it already being done. Okay. And I'll go deeper into some of the science behind the brain's role in manifesting in another video. It goes a little bit in depth for today's topic, but just so you know, there is concrete evidence that manifesting is real and that the subconscious mind plays a huge role in our ability to create our reality. Okay. So let's get into what scripting is. Scripting is kind of exactly what it sounds like. You're writing out your day or your week or your year or your outcome or whatever, however often you want to be doing it, as if it's already happened the way you want it to happen, like as if you're writing a scene out of your life. Okay. So you can do this, at the beginning of the year. Now we're coming up to the end of 2022. So it's a fantastic time to be scripting out your next year. So one way you could do it is to write out, pretend it's the end of next year and write out how the year has gone. You can script out your next day, and you can do that daily. I hope that wind isn't too loud. You can script out every day as if it has already happened. You can script out specific outcomes. Like, for example, I'll give you a personal example. If you've been following me for a while, you're aware that I was forced to go back to work after I just couldn't get my coaching business off the ground. That's a whole different story for another day, if you're not familiar with it. But anyway, so I utilized scripting to manifest the perfect job for me. I needed to go back to work. I figured I might as well manifest the perfect outcome here so that at least, it's an amicable return to work. Okay. So first I sat down and I decided, what do I actually need out of this job? What do I want? How much money do I need it to bring in? So first I looked at my finances and I determined, okay, this is like the minimum amount that I can take for a job to cover all of our expenses and our groceries and a little bit extra and is XYZ. I want the job to be within so many minutes from my house, because obviously this was going to be a temporary thing. It wasn't going to be a lifelong career. So I wasn't looking to have any kind of managerial role or any kind of commute. I just wanted something that I could leave at work at the end of the day, that it wouldn't take me long to get to work or to get home. I wanted something with a friendly atmosphere. I needed something with a casual work environment, because when I was working in my last corporate job and needed, work clothes, I weighed significantly more than I weighed at that point that I was looking for a job. So I didn't have any work clothes that fit. And because I was struggling financially big time, we didn't have money to go and buy new work clothes. So I needed the work environment to be somewhat casual so I could work with what I already had. Anyway, so I listed out all the criteria I needed out of this job. And then I scripted. It was a Wednesday. I remember it like it was yesterday. I scripted out. It was a Wednesday. I had applied to a bunch of jobs. I got my resume ready. I wrote a couple of emails. I applied to some jobs, and I was starting to script out that I was going to get a call the next day for one of these jobs. And I almost wrote in specifically the job that I thought I wanted. I thought I wanted to work at the vet office that our dog, rest in peace, MJ, was seeing. And so I was going to script that specifically. And then I thought, no, back up a second. That might not be the best aligned position. And if I script it, there's a good possibility it's going to happen. And then I'm going to end up limiting what the universe can do for me. So instead, I scripted, okay, I want the ideal job. And that's actually, let me back up a second. That's actually when I went, okay, no, this is what I need the job to have. This pay, this proximity to the house, these kinds of hours, So I scripted, the ideal job for me and our situation is going to call me tomorrow for an interview. And sure enough, the next day I get an email, actually, so same difference, asking me to come in for an interview the following day. So this was a Thursday, asking me to come in on Friday for the interview. So I was like, okay, perfect. And it was a contract position. So I thought I wanted just a regular job. Like by regular, I mean, like you just go when you work, and then I was going to quit again when I was ready to leave and pursue my business. But I noticed a lot of resistance coming up to that, because I had been the designated trainer in a lot of my previous corporate positions. And so I knew how much work it was to train somebody and how frustrating it was for them to leave right away. So I did notice some resistance to that. And it's funny because the job that ended up calling me for an interview, I almost didn't apply for, because it was a year-long maternity leave contract. And I thought, I don't know, I don't really want to be at a job for a whole year. I had it in my mind it was only going to take me 4 months to get my business up and running, and then I was going to be able to quit this job. But I thought, no, you know what? I'll apply for it anyway. It was literally like 15 minutes from the house. The hours were good. It was like a receptionist / bookkeeping kind of a role. So I had already experience in that kind of thing, administrative assistant. And I figured, okay, well, you know what? Like, worst case scenario, at least this job comes with an end date. And so I don't have to select the end date. That'll be what it is. And if I get the job, then I'm just going to put it out to the universe that by the time the contract is over, because it did have a caveat that said, position could go permanent at the end of the year or something like that. So I was just manifesting that I would get the job, or if I got the job, if it was the most aligned job, that it was going to be such that by the time the year contract was up, that I was going to be so successful in my business that any offer to stay permanently would actually hinder my success, and I was going to be in the position to leave. So anyway, so I scripted that this perfect job would call me. That's the job that ended up calling me the next day, or sending me the email. So I went in for the interview on Friday. So of course, Thursday night, I script as if it's Friday night, and they gave me the job on the spot, and it's perfect. And they offered me this much money and da-da-da-da. And that is basically what happened. The next day on the Friday, I went in for the interview. The boss wasn't actually there. So I was interviewed by the woman that I was taking over for, which funnily enough was actually the girlfriend of a guy that I used to work with at a previous job. So he had already put in a good word for me when he saw that it was my application, because she had seen that that it was the same hotel that he had worked at. He said, "Hey, do you know this girl?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's my friend." So anyway, of course I didn't know any of this, right? Like I didn't. So it's just kind of funny how things align. But anyway, so she interviews me. I didn't get the job on the spot, but only because the boss wasn't there. I didn't know this, but I basically already had the job before I even went in. I think they were kind of just making sure I wasn't like crazy or whatever, which is fine. Like that's fair. I would do the same. And then I did get an email about an hour and a half later offering me the job. And then we negotiated back and forth pay, which was not as much as I had scripted, but it was still more than the minimum I needed. So I was happy with that. And then it ended up being like the whole year that I was there, 13 months total that I was there, it was absolutely the perfect job in every single way, and in ways that I had not thought of or scripted, and in ways I didn't realize were going to benefit me and my personal growth. And it was just incredible. So that was my first true experience with using scripting as a modality for manifesting, where I could see the payoff of it like immediately. And that was back in 2019. And since then I've been a huge believer in script. I already liked it, but since then I became a huge believer. And then fast forward, I've been using it for quite a long time. And there's been several occasions now. I don't use it every single day. I use it to script out specific outcomes that I want, or I use it to script out kind of like an ideal day in my life as I'm moving and shifting into this new version of myself as we continue to evolve, right? As humans do. And more than a couple of times, I have realized while it's happening that I'm literally living a day that I had scripted exactly as I had wanted it to happen. Funny example that the girls love, so I'll share with you. One of the things that I had scripted was actually supposed to be, at the time, was supposed to be fast forward into the future when my husband and son and I had our, big, beautiful house. We were still living in British Columbia at the time. As you can see, I don't live in British Columbia anymore. We live in Nicaragua now. But when I thought we still wanted to live in British Columbia, I was manifesting, a big house with a pool and, big walk-in closet and all the bells and whistles that I thought I wanted back in BC. And one of the things that I had scripted, and I don't really know why I did, but anyway, one of the things I had scripted was that my husband and I, like my parents-in-law or whatever, were over and everybody's playing in the backyard in the pool. And my husband and I had kind of snuck off to, get down and dirty in the walk-in closet for whatever reason. And fast forward, maybe it was a few weeks later, maybe even a month later, that reality was living out. Like I started laughing, actually. We were still living in the house we had been in, which was actually the basement suite of my parents-in-law's house, which was a beautiful basement suite. It was absolutely gorgeous. We finished it off, had to put a second bathroom in, had our master bedroom. My son had his own room and his own bathroom. He had his own playroom. It was a beautiful, beautiful space. It just wasn't like my space, right? Anyway, one day in the summer, for whatever reason, I went in the house and then Derek came in, and then before I know it, we're having sex in the walk-in closet. And then I started laughing because I was like, oh my God, I totally scripted this into being. It was so funny. So like, be careful what you script. That's all I have to say. So that was kind of funny. And so, but since then too, I've had multiple days where I have lived a day that I have scripted. For example, one of the things that I had scripted to happen once we moved to Nicaragua was that my family and I would be out at the beach, and I would leave my phone here because for, whatever, I don't need my phone when I'm at the beach. I'm at the beach with my family. And I would come home and I would see multiple notifications, including unexpected payments of new clients, like through passive income or whatever. And sure enough, we had been here for like maybe 2 weeks. We went to the beach, we came back, I checked my phone, and I had an unexpected payment of $555 US for a course that I hadn't promoted in I don't even know how long. So that right there is an example of how I knew that I was living a day that I had scripted. So like I say, be careful what you script because it will happen. So like I say, scripting is writing a scenario out or a day or an experience out the way you want it to happen. So how you script, and I've kind of already touched on this, but how you script, or how I script at least, I'm just going to share what I do because it obviously works. If you're going to do daily scripting, what you want to do is you pretend that you're writing a journal entry. So if I was going to script tomorrow the way I want it to happen, I would do it tonight before I go to bed. I mean, time of day doesn't really matter, but I like to do it. If I'm going to do it daily, I do it the night before I go to bed. And I would write a journal entry as if it's tomorrow night and the day has already happened. And I'm going to write all the things the way I want it to happen, how well my morning went, and I got this done and I got that done, and maybe I received an unexpected payment, or maybe I got an unexpected phone call from a friend I haven't talked to in a long time, or maybe I had a potential client reach out to me who seems like a great fit to work with me. Maybe I finally finish off this project I've been working on. Maybe, okay, so we're near Christmas time. Maybe I script in that I'm going to find the perfect Christmas present for my son or something. Whatever it may be. And then the only thing I'll add here is that you want to focus more on how you want to feel than the actual outcomes. Now, the actual outcomes are fine and good if you want to include those, but especially if you're not really sure on how you want the day to unfold, or if you're new to scripting and you're like, I don't really know how specific I want to get because I don't want it to not work, and then I'll have resistance to it working. And so if you have any kind of hesitation to it working out, I would recommend focusing more on how it feels. So at the end of the day, ultimately anything we want because we think we'll feel better. So if you want to have a productive day where you feel really good about the effort you put forward, you feel really good about, the level of awareness you had that day, you feel really good about, maybe you're on a personal development journey and you're trying to, be more aware of you're trying to be more aware of how you're reacting in situations, or you're trying to, mitigate some of the defensiveness that you have typically had, or maybe you're trying to curb some anxiety that you have. Maybe you're having money issues and you want to get through the whole day without stressing about money, for example. So how do you want to feel, right? And focus on that and script out. I felt so good today. The day flowed so well. It couldn't have been more aligned if I had written it myself. I meditated in the morning and it was so great. I had this great idea for this thing that I can do, or I had, this great program name came to me, or, I had this idea to reach out to this person, or whatever, unexpected money showed up, or I feel so good. I really feel like I'm supported by the universe and everything is always working out for me. And I feel really, good about the progress I made today. I felt that I handled all the things that came my way today really, really well. I balanced my schedule well. I never felt rushed. It was just a really great day, and I can go to bed now totally at peace with how I showed up for myself today, or, whatever, some variation of that. Obviously, you want to make it very personalized and very specific to you, and use words that you would normally use. Like, have a conversation with yourself or with, the universe, or pretend you're having a phone call with your best friend, and you want to write like you would say it in real life. Like, if it doesn't sound like you, it's going to be hard for you to get behind believing that it's going to happen. Okay. Another couple of tips. If you are new to this and you feel like, I don't really know if I'm going to believe, if I'm going to believe that these things are going to happen, script in simple things like a synchronicity, like seeing angel numbers, or seeing a butterfly, or seeing a feather, or seeing a hummingbird, or seeing anything, an elephant, like whatever, anything that you have no resistance to, like somebody bringing you a cup of coffee, or if you know you're going to go through the drive-through in the morning, maybe the car in front of you paying for your coffee or something like that, right? Now, also important, don't get discouraged if what you script doesn't manifest right away, because again, like I was just saying, you may have resistance to it coming to fruition, and that resistance is going to stop the universe from being able to bring it to you because your beliefs are overriding the magic the universe has for you. Okay, so just keep trying, and like I said, if you need to, dial it back, focus on feelings, and focus on very non-resistant synchronicities at first, just so that you can get a hang of it, so you can see proof of it in your reality. You see, oh, I scripted I'd see a butterfly and I saw a butterfly. Okay, perfect. I scripted that I would feel supported by the universe and this thing happened, and that definitely confirms that I'm supported by the universe, right? And then get into more specifics after that. So Abraham Hicks always says too, if you're focusing too tightly and it's not happening, broaden the scope and start bigger, and then dial it back in when you feel that you can get behind the bigger thing. Okay, because we don't ever want to feel discouraged in our manifesting. You have to understand, and I'll do this in another video, but you have to understand that your subconscious is driving the boat when you are manifesting, which is why it's so important to do the inner work and to remove all of the blocks that are keeping you from manifesting what it is that you want. Because the absolute fastest way to manifest anything and to really like live your ideal life, where obviously things just manifest for you easily and you're in flow all the time and you're in alignment, and you know, even if challenges come up, you know that they're for your highest and best good, and you're always looking for that silver lining. To get to that place, you have to first become the person who has the thing. You have to believe that you have to believe that it's not only possible, but it's already yours. Okay, so that's my little, take that with a grain of salt. Okay, so please don't get discouraged if at first you don't see the success that you want to see. Keep trying and start smaller / broader. Okay. Like I definitely wouldn't try to manifest $100,000 out of nowhere if you've never had $100,000 in your grasp at one time. If anything, I would manifest like small amounts of money, like finding a coin on the ground, or, you know, finding unexpected money. And maybe you put your hand in your pocket of jeans you haven't worn in a long time and you pull out $20. Like that would be amazing. Right. And no matter how much money you manifest, it's still more money than you had earlier. So I mean, I wouldn't start with $1 million. Okay. So that's my 2 cents on that. But if you're wondering, okay, like, so what if I don't really care how the day goes? Or what if I'm a stay-at-home mom and my days always look kind of the same? What do I script then? Like, how do I change what happens? Or do I even want to change what happens? Well, first, do you want to change what happens? Or do you just want to see how the magic happens? Because like I was just saying, script small, script synchronicities, script finding unexpected money, script finding something you've been looking for, script seeing angel numbers, script some unexpected thing that could only be the universe. Like you could say it like, let me think, you know, today, the craziest thing happened that totally confirmed the universe is on my side. There's no way I could have imagined it would happen. But as soon as it did, I knew 1000% that the universe was there giving me a wink, telling me that I was supported. Okay. And it doesn't have to be a specific, you don't have to get into details if you don't want to, but you're opening up the magic to scripting. Okay. And I'm telling you, it works magic. Like I was saying at the beginning of the video too, another way that you can use it is, because we're coming up to the end of the year and New Year's is a big deal, right? For a lot of us are setting New Year's resolutions. You can script out a day as if it's the end of next year, like December 31st, 2023. And you can write a letter to yourself essentially saying how amazing the year went and how you're so glad you accomplished all these things and how you feel and how you're so, you know, thrilled that everything is working out for you always. And there's a frog hopping on my patio over here, and there's a bug, I think, trying to bite me. It's just, you guys, the jungle is so crazy. And you want to, you know, incorporate all the things that you want to feel. And remember, when you're scripting, the things you want, you only want because you think you'll feel better when you have them. Okay. So you can bypass the thing and focus on the feeling, because the universe is going to make sure you feel that way no matter what. Like some people think that they want a specific amount of money every month, But when you really boil it down, it could be a lot less than that. It could be more than that they actually want. But what they're actually striving for is that feeling that they think they'll have when they have that money they think they want. So if you focus on how good it feels to not have to worry about money and having all of your bills paid and having money stocked away in savings over trying to find a way to manifest, $10 or $20,000 a month, there's less resistance to it because you obviously know that you can feel good. There must be some time in your life when you didn't stress about money, at least for a day, right? And I think we can all get behind the fact that we deserve to feel good, right? Like generally, if you've got limiting beliefs around that too, that's not unheard of and it's something else to work through. But I just share that you want to focus on the feelings you want to get from the thing more than the actual thing. You know what I'm saying? And you might be saying too, like, okay, so what if I don't even know where I want to be at the end of next year? What if I don't even know what I want to get out of 2023? First, like I have said, you want to focus on feelings. But second, I really would take some time to at least get clear on gist of what you want, right? Clarity is really key. You need to know kind of where you're going to have any way to gauge whether you're getting closer or not to that. And I'll leave a link below for my Setting Intentions That Actually Manifest workshop, which is amazing. It's about an hour and a half and it comes with a pretty in-depth workbook that will help you get clear on where you are currently, because a lot of people don't take the time to do that. That's often a step that's overlooked in the intention setting, goal setting process, is they don't take a look at where they are now. And even if you know where you're going, if you don't know where you are, it's still hard to gauge the progress because you might have something unconsciously lingering underneath the surface that you don't know is there that can't be worked through because you're not aware of it, right? So it gets you clear on where you are now and it gets you clear on where you want to go. And then it helps break the steps down into, more tangible, work throughable, bite-sizable steps so that you can get closer to those manifestations and goals sooner. Okay. So that's what I have for you on scripting. If you like this video, I would love it if you would give a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, I would love a thumbs down. Just, either way, let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, if you're going to use scripting, please comment scripting below. And if you want to let me know what you're going to use scripting to manifest, I would love to hear it. If you have a success story about scripting, I would love to hear that too. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I have many more videos like this coming. I mentioned in this video, many videos I'm going to make coming soon. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And if you think that you know somebody who would love to learn how to script, or they have been trying scripting but can't get it to work for them, I would love it if you would share this video with them, because if you enjoyed it, chances are they'll enjoy it. And until then, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope to see you again in my next video. Take care.